Hello everyone, welcome to this new episode in which we are going to discuss infrastructure as code in one of its most important languages, Bicep. First of all, what to expect in this video? We're going to answer some questions. First one is, what is infrastructure as code? Why using it? And what are the languages supported by Azure Cloud? Why choosing Bicep exactly? And how to start using it? And finally, an example of some Bicep script and some conclusion at the end. Infrastructure as code is a concept that allows you to provision and manage computing infrastructure, such as servers, networks, databases, etc., but using only scripts. The second question is, why do developers and IT professionals prefer to use infrastructure as code rather than interactive tools, such as Azure Portal, for example? The answer is, as you can notice, AIC offers several benefits, like increasing speed and efficiency. Let's say, for example, a case where you want to create 30 virtual machines, 20 virtual networks, and 15 servers, Cisco servers. Using the Azure Portal would take hours and hours, but using code, you can create them in just several minutes. Using this tool will absolutely give you better documentation and traceability to your previous work. It also increases scalability by offering all the flexibility needed. Another interesting benefit is reusability, which means you can reuse your previous scripts already created, so you don't have to rewrite the code from scratch every time you need to create or manage new resources. Of course, infrastructure as code offers better collaboration since it supports continuous integration. Less human errors are also one of the most important pros, because you can check your code line by line before submitting it. Better disaster recovery, reducing costs, and improving customer experience by giving him the whole control needed. Azure Cloud supports three main infrastructure as code languages, which are Terraform, Azure Resource Manager, and Bicep. So what's the difference between these three languages? Concerning compatibility, Terraform is undoubtedly the leader, as it's supported by various cloud providers, including Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. On the other hand, Azure Resource Manager is based on 𝐘𝐨𝐿, and as shown in its name, it's only supported by Azure. But that's not its only weakness. This language is considered as a complex language. In that order, Microsoft thought about building its new language, which it gave the name Bicep. And honestly, I believe that Bicep was an incredible development. Here you can notice the slight resemblance between the three languages, and especially between Bicep and Terraform. But you can also see some differences between these three languages concerning syntax. And when talking about syntax, it's obvious the impressive simplicity that Bicep offers. Among the three languages supported by Azure, we decided to explore Bicep. Why? That's what we're going to discuss in this part of the video. Simplicity, as we already mentioned before, is the most important addition Bicep brought. But not only that, Bicep supports all resources types and API versions. So you are always 100% sure that the API version that you wanna deploy or manage is available in your code. Authority experience, which means you can have considerable help. You need only to install the Bicep extension in your Visual Studio code, and you're going to have so much help. Repeatable results are provided by offering reusability of scripts. Previous changes. This is a very interesting actually. It means that you can anticipate the modifications your code will make by utilizing an operation called 𝐻𝐿. Modularity, integration with Azure services, and the last one is the free and open source service of Bicep. So the question now is, how can I start building infrastructure with Bicep? Microsoft provides well-organized templates of its overall resources. Let's check these templates and learn how we can use them. This window is the typical view of Microsoft Learn platform that provides AAC templates. It starts with the templates tab here, and next you can find the name of the resource. In our case, it's SQL Server, and you can find or choose the deployment language you want to choose: Bicep, ARM, and Terraform. The component in here, you can find the components of the article, and in here you choose the API version you want to use. Generally, it's recommended to use the latest one, unless you have some technical obligations related to previous versions. On your left, you can find a scrolling list that contains the overall templates of any resource you want. For example, let's try to find the templates of a virtual network. We are going to look for the word network. It's in here, and virtual network. That's it. It's that simple. Let's go back to our example. After choosing the API version, you find a quick definition of your resource and the scope that it should be deployed in. In our case, the scope is resource group. That means you have to deploy your code under a resource group and not another scope. Now, this is the template suggested by Microsoft Learn. It gives you the exact syntax and every property the resource could have. Of course, not all of them are required. We're gonna see how to distinguish the required properties and the regular ones later. First thing to specify in your templates is the type of the unit. It's a resource. Then you choose a name, or you give a name to a resource. Of course, it has to be unique in your code. And you choose in here the type of the resource, SQL Server. And in here, this is the API version. after using the equal character and an open curly brace, you saw the declaration of the properties. Each property is attached to its type. Name is a string, location is a string, but tags is considered as an object. Azure AD only authentication is a Boolean, so you can only choose true or false value. The next section is property values, in which you can find the name of the property, here, a quick description of it, and finally, and most importantly, the value column. And here you can find, distinguish the required values, or the required properties. We can have a small idea about the obligations that the value should respect, and sometimes you could find the possible values accepted, like in the type of resource identity, accept only for values. And finally, at the bottom of the page, you can find a quick start templates that you can use directly and deploy in Azure. Now let's see a Bicep script code that I already created for an SQL server previously. There we are. This is a simple example. The declaration, you can notice that the parameters declaration could be done in two ways, different ways. Inside the resource or outside of the resource. So I did name inside and the location outside as an independent parameters. It depends of your code and your choices. Concerning the authoring experience, you can see, for example, if I type T, suggested for me the value, or the property tags. Of course, it's not required property, so I don't have to push it necessarily. For example, in here, I can have an authoring app. So that's it. Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay in touch and get our new videos. Goodbye.